maybe this little mini sell-off is a buying opportunity going into tomorrow's earnings. There's just so many earnings that are coming out today and through the week. It's, like I said, the biggest earnings calendar. Here's the calendar. I'll actually just put the link in the chat box here. And so this is how I kind of look for names also, where, it's people always say, well, where do you get your ideas and what have you? So I'll look at the earnings, and then go through all of these. So the yellow ones are, companies that have already announced in the morning. So we've got Logitech in the afternoon, LOGI. And I'll just go, I went through a lot of these charts over the weekend. And like I said, in order to play an earnings thing, I really got to love it one way or another, because you can get just all kinds of havoc post an earning. F5, CRSP is a big one. This looks like this thing wants to go lower, and it's going to announce. I don't know when it's going to announce. They don't really have a time. And this looks like it wants to go lower. TFI, F5. So this is going to announce tonight. And it looks like, there's a lot of support in here. It should go higher. There's also some resistance here. What I try and draw in my mind is try and, draw how this thing is likely to open, where it's likely to go. And I do a lot of visualization. It's hard to see this thing going lower, but at the same time with this thing here, it's hard to see that kind of going through there. So it's kind of hard to explain, but, I like to see some things where I can visualize a clear pathway without, any impediments in your way. And like I said, I've made some extraordinary. So this is PCH Potlatch. This thing looks like it wants to leak lower, but then you kind of have to go through all of these prices. So like I said, I just want to see a clear path one way or another. So that's about it for tonight. I think Tesla is going to be the big one on deck tonight. And then tomorrow morning, so UPS, got Starbucks tomorrow. You got RTX, Raytheon tomorrow morning. And Starbucks looks like it should go higher. I mean, it's just making new highs. And so Raytheon kind of looks like this thing could go lower. But then the weekly looks pretty constructive. So that's why I toggle between these time frames. And I just can't see it, one way or another. Whereas Starbucks is just unambiguously thrusting to new highs. And maybe this little mini sell-off is a buying opportunity going into tomorrow's earnings. I can't imagine this thing coming off too much.
Alain had a good question. He said, how do you read earnings and impact to the market?
So I don't read the earnings. To me, it's how the market reacts is the only thing that's important. So Tesla's starting to leak. So sometimes you'll get what looks like a great earnings result, and then the stock's down 10%. And you go, well, how can that be? And it's the premise what I always talk about. The market is a discounting mechanism. The market is not about today. So whatever earnings came out, that was earnings for last quarter. Now the market's saying, what are you doing for me, next quarter and the quarter beyond? And so this is going to be the big problem for a lot of these companies, is that they reached peak earnings through COVID, Zoom, what have you, Peloton. And now their comparables, year over year are going to be less. They're going to decelerate. And so that is going to be a problem for a lot of these companies. So they booked a lot of, earnings in the prior, period for Peloton, Zoom, these pandemic companies. And so now when you start comparing, last August to this August, you're going to see a deceleration. And the question is, how big is the deceleration going to be? And that's what the market is trying to answer now, is how much forward multiple, how much, that's going to be a big problem for a lot of these companies. So earnings, again, I don't look at any information. I don't look at what the Fed says. I don't look at, what, interest rates, what a consumer report number is. I look at how the market responds to that number. And typically, if you're in an uptrend, you can have a very bearish number. The market will sell off and then go back in the direction of the trend. Conversely, if the market is in a bear trend, you could have a very bullish number and the market will then eventually just sell off. It doesn't matter what the number is. So you can see, yeah, 45, 1.3 million.
$1.3 million short.
So popped out a profit for 118,000 there. So you can see how this is going crazy now. You can see how the market just going nuts. I bet like $1.6 million on this position. I'm showing right now $23,000 gain.